What's poppin', yo? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at, we live in time. We live in a society. We live in time. We live in a society. And, yeah, this is Andrew Garfield's and Florence Pugh's new movie, which came out in 2024, I do believe, 2024 movie, and it's actually fucking good. It is the meme horse movie. It's the meme horse movie, for those who don't have a clue what I'm talking about. You've all seen the horse. The horse is butt fucking ugly and looks way more human than it should, and it looks like it'll be ripped straight out of a Disney knockoff movie. It's the big yellow fucking horse. Like, I don't know what else to say. It'll probably be in the thumbnail as well. I'm definitely gonna put that horse in the thumbnail. It's too iconic not to be in the thumbnail. But other than that, let's get into what Google has to say without any further delay. We Live in Time, 2024 romance comedy, which is 1 hour and 48 minutes. It has a 7 out of 10 on IMDb and a 78 on Rotten Tomatoes. Albert and Tobias are brought together by a surprising encounter that changes their lives as they embark on a path challenged by the limits of time. They learn to cherish each moment of their unconventional story. Right, so that's what Google has to say. I'm gonna put this movie in timeline order. So if you're watching this movie, what I'm about to say doesn't happen on screen in the order of what I'm about to tell this in. I'm going from how it should have gone timeline wise. Okay? So I'm going to start at the start of the story and end at the end, because this movie goes a very roundabout way of telling it. So, Albert is opening up a new sort of chef restaurant. She's opening up a new restaurant, and she hits Andrew Garfield with a car. Florence Pugh hits Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield is currently going through a divorce and living with his dad. They get burgers together, they go home, and have a good old chat. They then wake up. A couple of days later, he goes to her restaurant and, is like, oh, I don't actually have a wife, we're divorced. And then they fuck. Alright? They fuck. Every time they see each other, they fuck. They are fucking a whole lot. A lot more fucking in this movie than I thought. I thought there'd be zero fucking, for those of you that wanted to know. And, yep, they then have an argument because Andrew Garfield wants a child, she doesn't, and this is like 2 weeks into the relationship. Yeah, brilliant. He then goes to her when her mate's having a baby shower, is like, hey, I love you, I'm sorry, does a big apologetic speech, she forgives him, and they fuck some more. They have a child, or they try to have a child. She, gets ovarian cancer, and then gets one of her ovaries removed because she wants to have children, and the other one stays in. That cancer then comes back later on in the movie, when they time skip to their daughter being around 6 or 7, and when they do that, they then decide to live life to the fullest while she's on this chemo treatment, and she goes bald. She goes and has treatment, and she is going to be a chef, a big chef competition behind Andrew Garfield's back. They get angry, they have a fight, they forgive each other, they go to the finals, and I think she comes second to some shit. She then goes ice skating with her daughter and Andrew, and then she skates away and waving to them, saying goodbye. The movie then cuts to them two back at home, the kid and Andrew, and then it ends. She died in a fucking brilliant way, and I loved it. This movie was great. The one downside of this movie was it was fucking awful the way it was timed. The way the timeline went was fucking dreadful. I think this movie could have been just as good if it was in chronological order instead of randomly shoved into different segments, because the timeline of this movie was jumbled. It's like someone dropped it before putting it together, and was like, well, not putting it together, but like they dropped it before they were like ready to show it, and that shit was fucking awful. It was so jarring every time to see like the movie so jumbled and so sort of out of like order, and it really upset me. Like it was the worst part about the movie, and it sucks because this movie was really good. There was very much unnecessary sex. When they were trying for a baby, fair enough. That's a needed sex scene to progress the story. They're trying for a baby. She can't have a baby. She gets a baby. That's fine. That's fair enough. But the first time they were fucking, that didn't need to happen. It didn't need to happen. I saw a lot of Florence Pugh that I did not expect to see, and that I probably didn't want to see, and that I never asked to see. It was a wild ride. But the emotions these characters had were fucking brilliant. The movie did a really good job at sort of showing these characters grow together stronger after every argument, after every, I'm going to say break up, because they sort of separate for a while. They took a break. It was a break. They took a break. And I thought it was really well done in terms of like the emotions, how these characters felt, how it built on that, how they were sort of going about it, how they were talking about it, how mature they were. Sometimes. They were mature sometimes. Because Andrew Garfield's character, he did overstep the line quite a few times. He did overstep the line. And fair enough, if you're in that situation, you're going to be very emotional. You're going to have feelings. You're only human. So, I get it. I get it. If you're sort of not thinking clearly. But I do agree with Florence Pugh's character for most of this movie. Like, I'm going to be honest. I do agree with her character for most of this movie. Like, come on, Andrew. Be a little bit more open-minded. We then had, like, the kid play an important role, and they were gonna kill a dog, and that was, like, one of the jokes, and that joke kept coming back. It was, like, a recurring joke throughout the entire fucking movie, and I loved it. It was brilliant. It was a really good joke. I don't know why it got me, but I really thought it was funny, and I did laugh quite a few times whilst watching this. I forget what most of the jokes were that I was laughing at, but the one that got me the most was the dog death one. It caught me so off guard, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was such a shitty joke, but it worked so well for the situation that they were in. Bless me. I do apologize for headphone users. That was a little bit of ear rape that I was not sort of expecting to happen. There will be no warning for that to happen. It's just going to happen. So I would like to apologize. That's completely my fault. But back to the movie. The emotion spectrum this had me feeling. I was upset at Andrew and was like, come on, dude, like, really, like, this is not how you're supposed to react. This is not a good reaction. Like, come on. And then I was happy for them as well, when, like, for most of the time, and when they were making jokes, I was laughing along with them. And then I was really upset at the end of the movie. I was actually shocked that they killed her off like that. Like, that's not what I was expecting. And it genuinely caught me off guard. This movie took so many twists and turns, and had so many sort of plot twists and surprises that I genuinely wasn't expecting throughout this movie, which just made it all the more interesting and all the more exciting. I genuinely liked it. Acting was phenomenal. The music choice was really good. It really complemented most of the scenes. The pacing was good when it stuck to one fucking timeline. When it stuck to one time scene, that was brilliant. When it jumped around, like, the scenes, it really pissed me off. And that's my biggest gripe with this movie. Because we'd be watching it, alright? Then we'd jump back to the start of the story. We'd watch that for a little bit. We'd then jump to the middle of the story, right? Watch that for a bit. Then jump to the furthest point in the story, just in front of what we watched at the start of the story. And then we'll go back even further than we went. And then we'll go forward just a little bit more in front of the first back time skip. And it was awful. How it was set up was awful. I was like constantly trying to work out where this was in the timeline, and it genuinely confused me. I don't get why it couldn't have just been, like, all in one linear timeline. I don't get the creative choice which made it be the fact that they split it the fuck up. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why they decided to shove it backwards and forwards, why they decided to split it up. It didn't make sense to me. Like, I genuinely didn't fucking get it. It was really, really stupid in my opinion. It was really stupid. And it's my biggest gripe with the movie. And it's why I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's why I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, because this movie had so much potential. I think it was pretty much brilliant in any other aspect, but the fucking timeline one, it's my biggest issue. It's genuinely my biggest issue. I didn't give a, like, it's the only thing I could focus on when I was watching this movie and, like, writing my notes on what I thought was good, what I thought was bad, what sort of key details I wanted to talk about. The only thing that I wrote in the bad part was the timeline, the fucking time skip, because every time it came on, it made me really fucking annoyed at this movie. So, 8 out of 10 it is. If you do want me to review any other movies, TV shows, animes, please do let me know down in the comments below and I'll get on it as quickly as possible. But other than that, I don't really have much else to say, so I'll see you all in the next one. I hope you all have an incredible day, and goodbye. Stay home and stay safe.